Welcome to the Wrestling Still Cool podcast. My name is Cam. That's Mark.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining in.
So, again, since this is not a interview, we're going to hit you with the socials. You can follow us on Twitter at WrestlingSCool. You can go ahead and hit with the rest.
For Instagram, it's at Wrestling Still Cool. Facebook is Wrestling Still Cool. TikTok is at Wrestling Still Cool 90. LinkedIn is Wrestling Still Cool. And you get us on email at WrestlingStillCool@gmail.com.
All right, now do the thing you did before I hit record.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, so we're going to retro review WrestleMania 3. He did that before we hit the record button, so I figure we have to include that now. WrestleMania 3
did back at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, which I'm sorry. When I was watching this, did he do that in other ones? Because I do not remember him doing that in like the older like WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 4, 5. It just seems like this was like a one-off. It seems like he mainly says, "Welcome to WrestleMania."
Yeah, pretty much. I think he did something of similarity on WrestleMania 23 because it was a 20-year anniversary of that pay-per-view. Plus, it was in the same area, so same dome. I think it actually was in. But yeah, just that what he did. That was just that one. So he has something different he wanted to do for it.
Right. Any case, so WrestleMania 3 took place on March 29th, 1987. From the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. I completely forgot the car brand Pontiac was named after a place and not after a person. Any case, so this was WrestleMania 3. This one went down for a couple things that kind of happened. The biggest resonance is Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, which we'll get to later. The commentators for the night were Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse the Body Ventura, with special guests Mary Hart and Bob Uecker. How the hell do you say his name? Is it Uecker? I think it's Uecker.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Uecker it is. Yeah.
I wrote it, and I'm like, well, as I say Uecker, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Which I know he was a commentator prior to that. Then there's a couple times where Bobby the Brain comes in and gets involved. The show, it was sung. America the Beautiful was sung by Aretha Franklin, which it was interesting because you don't really see that nowadays.
At one point in time, I mean, they still do that. The American Beautiful stuff. They have to sing, and it was a trademark for gazillion years, and they did it with her again at WrestleMania 23.
Well, what I was going to say is the presentation. The presentation was very, very NFL style. And WWE does go for the traditional sports style, and you can kind of see that with their daily TV show. But this presentation stuck out to me as this is what I would expect to see if I was watching a Monday Night Football game. Especially one that took place in the 80s. That's what I got from it.
It is the same thing at WrestleMania 24. When I was there at John Legend. It was kind of the same setup.
Right. But I just mean the presentation with the camera work and zooming in on America the Beautiful and how the way that they're standing near the commentary booth, how it had the ring in the background. It gave it a very NFL style feel to me. Okay. Any case, the first match that we had on for the night was the Can-Am Connection, which was Rick Martel and Tom Zenk versus Bob Orton and Magnificent Morocco, Don the Rock Morocco, with Mr. Fuji. Luckily, there was no blood here, considering what happened with Bob Orton years later with The Undertaker. But this is kind of like the old style matches. There was a double down at one point with the conking of heads, which is something you don't get in today's wrestling at all. But they ended up squeezing out of the win. Rick Martel and Tom Zenk over Mr. Orton and Morocco.
That's it.
There was also something I made a note of. I don't remember who he was referring to, but at one point, Jesse Ventura said he was one of the guys in the ring was the excellence of execution. I did not realize that was used prior to Bret Hart.
Yeah, I think I think I do remember that reference from back in that one point. There's some names that were reused for later times. Is what you're just talking about.
Right, it was weird.
Yeah, that's it's like Nature Boy. He's kind of it's a little different type of name, but yeah, it was. There's some names even back in the day that even further before this that were used. It's like what?
Well, yeah, Don the Rock, Morocco, the Rock, and excellence of execution. You basically had two Attitude Era references in the first match of this pay-per-view from 1987. Any case, would you give that match?
They got a 5.7. It's a pretty good kickoff match to the show. The opening matches are just so important for WrestleMania. They're important for any show, obviously. But when you have WrestleMania, it's the Super Bowl of wrestling, and you got to kick it off with something pretty strong. I thought it was a pretty good match, and good to see it kicked it off, and they told a good story. It was all around something that was interesting. That was Bob Orton, man. He was. I mean, I know other people in their match too that were great, like Martel and so forth. But Bob Orton Jr. always had this something about his character that was always so good, and especially if you worked with the right people, even more so, he even got better. Yeah, that was a very entertaining match. Give it 5.7. I could give it a 6, and that was fine with me.
I actually gave it a 5. So I thought it was a fair match.
Yeah,
there's actually, I'm not gonna lie, there was something I thought was a little bit more entertaining than this one. But yeah, it was a pretty good one. Bob Orton, it's weird because I didn't discover Bob Orton until after I knew of Randy Orton, his son. So anytime you could instantly find him in a pay-per-view match. All you have to do is look for Randy's face, and it's right there. Just on a curly hair, chubbier guy.
Pretty much.
But yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I found out about, when I was young, and I found out about Cowboy Bob Orton through, obviously, old VHS tapes. That's how I got to know. And I think it was WrestleMania 1 might have been the first time I actually saw him. And that's how I got to know a little bit about him. But obviously, I found out a lot more so when he, accompanied Randy Orton years ago. So,
that was my introduction to him, was through the Randy Orton involvement when Randy Orton first went on his own. And then a little bit later on, finding old pay-per-views on the network, stuff like that. I didn't really do much of the old videotape thing besides like old WCW, like Row Wilds and stuff like that, which that was not what he was a part of.
Absolutely. For y'all youngins that may not know what VHS tapes are, Google that thing. I'm sure by now you've heard of them, but that's it. Anyways, I'd throw that out there for y'all youngins that are listening.
The next match ended up being Billy Jack Haynes versus Hercules with Bobby Heenan. There was a promo in the backstage with Bobby Heenan and Hercules. Bobby Heenan, besides him doing like commentary, it's weird because I don't know who I would say would be the better manager between Bobby Heenan or Paul Heyman in terms of being able to rile everybody up and get his client hated.
Yeah, I actually understand and agree on that part. I think the runner-up in a different aspect after those guys would be Jimmy Hart. I said in a different aspect, different type of character, different situation. Right. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. By the way, this is a full Nelson challenge match. By the way, that's the actual stipulation of this match.
Yeah, PJ Savage is not involved in it.
Huh?
I wonder why PJ Savage is not involved in it.
He was, probably a little bit before his time. I thought it was a good match. He got better towards the end, but it was a good match. He told a good story. I mean, he had Hercules, which was a very pretty popular wrestler back in the day, and Billy Jack Haynes wasn't overly knowledgeable, but I found a little more about him in time. But yeah, the ending really told even more of a story. And honestly, I gave this match 2 different ratings, honestly. But it really delivered, and you could say they kind of gave it open end book to where it's like there's more to come after down the line, the storyline with them.
What I would say is, yeah. Well, okay, so I definitely dug the match. I didn't mind the double count out given the circumstances. I don't know much about Hercules, and I know more about Billy Jack Haynes from interviews that I heard from him. And I'll be frank, his interview was pretty much how he sold cocaine while being part of the WWF.
Okay.
It was weird. I'll be frank, seeing him in a wrestling match and knowing that.
Yeah.
I really dug the match, even though it was kind of like a short-lived one. But given that, one, it makes sense for the double count-out given the circumstances that led up to it, but as well as the post-match attack, I actually gave it a 6. I was more entertained by it.
I gave it a 5 for the match, but I included, like I said, the different rating. I gave it a 5.5 total with the situation after the match and storyline going into it. I know I was like, okay, this is going to continue. And it was good booking for it to give a little open book to where, okay, they have more room to do more work in the future after WrestleMania. So I thought it was a good booking for the ending. So yeah, absolutely, give it a thumbs up.
Okay. Like I said, it just came down to I was more entertained by it than anything.
Yeah.
So I gave it a little bit of bonus points for that. The next match was a mixed tag match that you didn't really see much in the 80s, but not the mixed tag match that you're kind of used to. It was Hillbilly Jim with the Haiti Kid and Little Beaver against King Kong Bundy, Little Tokyo, Lord Littlebrook, in a tag match. This mixed match challenge was not men and women; it was men and little people, or midgets. In this, I think they referred to them in this match. Are you familiar with led up to this? Because I don't recall.
I have no idea. I don't even remember this match. I don't even remember watching it back in the day with tapes and everything. Honestly, I thought they could have been better booking. I didn't see this match.
Well, it ended in disqualification because I'm pretty sure it was King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy body slammed one of the midgets.
Yeah,
which is like, I know this is not the last time that WWE involved it because there was one where it was Doink, Dink, and Dunk. I think was the other one versus.
They had it. There was midgets later on in time too. They even had their own midget division.
No, I get you, but the only other match I think of that was kind of like this, it was Doink and a couple clown ones against.
Yeah.
And the other.
Years later, years later was I know what you're about now. These kind of matches I'm not really honestly into. It's nothing against little people or midgets, whatever you like to call them. It is more or less the setup and everything, and just the match side. I just wasn't really a fan of it. So yeah, they could have done better with King Kong Bunny and Hillbilly Jim. Honestly, they really could.
And this is one of those you chalk up under like they just did this for the eyes.
It was on paper.
Yeah, well, it was one of those where they're like, if we run this match, people are just like, there's no way they're going to let King Kong Bunny squash a midget kind of thing.
Yeah.
What would you end up giving this one?
I gave it a nice 3.
Fair. I did 3.5. I actually thought you were going to do 4, not going to lie.
No, I was being generous 3. This match just was not even,
Yeah, I didn't find it entertaining.
Nothing for me. So I was like, let's saw this. I'm like, I didn't remember this match, but I was like, yeah, y'all could have done much better with King Kong Bundy and also with Hillbilly Jim. They're both big stars in their time. So I just felt like it just not for WrestleMania. But anyways, that's just
It is what it is.
Yeah.
The next one ended up being a Kiss My that was